Hi guys, and welcome back. So a lot of people have asked me to do a section on targeting grunter solely on bait. Now what we're going to do today, we're actually land-based, and I'm going to run you through the setups that I use that work for me, some bait presentations, and what to look for when targeting grunter from a shore-based perspective. Now, I generally have two setups with me. These setups are almost identical in every single sense, except one rod is slightly longer than the other. Starting with my slightly heavier setup, I run a Stratic 3000 paired with PE 0.8. I have that on an Obi Keen Force 9 foot, 5 to 25 gram rod. The second one I have is a Vanford 3000 shallow spool edition paired with PE 0.6, and I run that also on a Keen Force. This is the 8'6" model, also 5 to 25 gram. Now these rods are almost identical, and why I run two rods is I'll fish one with a small weight as a bottom based, and I'll fish the other rod as a drift bait. Full setup number one. This is our heavier setup, which we're going to fish as a bottom based rig. On here I have a 1/0 circle hook. This is a Mustad Demon, about 1 meter of 15-pound Maxima Ultra Green, to small power swivel, a bead to protect the knot, and a 1/4 ounce weight. Now the weight is only there to give us some additional distance. Small weight like this won't hold your bait in place in a tidal system. Looking at our drift setup, here I keep it very light. This is also our lighter of the two reels. Number one circle hook BKK inline with a meter of 12-pound fluorocarbon onto a small power swivel. Now you can rig this directly onto your leader, but remember, we need to snell our circle hooks, and I don't like to snell directly onto my leader line. The leader is exactly the same as my trace line here in this instance. Let's go ahead and prepare our first bait. Very simple yet very effective grunter bait. And that's it. As simple as that. Hook sits nice and proud. Now a lot of guys like to apply a bit of cotton here. I like to keep it just like that. If you go right through the backbone, you make a soft flick cast, this bait will stay on perfectly. Remember, grunters are not pecking fish, they inhale this entire bait. Now my personal favorite baits for targeting grunter are these little critters. These are sand prawns. Now you get different species or subspecies of these guys depending on where you collect them. In the sandy areas you'll have these pale ones, and when you move to the mud banks you'll actually have a darker version which we call a mud prawn. Now I've seen better success by using sand prawns in sandy areas and mud prawns in muddy areas. Very importantly guys, these have to be collected, and remember that you need a special permit to collect these. The bag limit per person per day is 50 of these. Now there's a couple of ways you can rig them. I like to rig these guys in the following way. Double over the tail, take my little circle hook basically run it through like that. You can also add additional ones to create a bigger bait. This works particularly well if you're targeting fish like cob but want a little bit of a larger bait presentation. Another way that you can rig these guys is by actually taking them and rigging them right behind the head here. There's a piece of hard shell where you can stick them through like that. I prefer not to use this method. I like through the tail. It keeps them alive longer and then the presentation looks a little bit more natural to me. Now guys, keep in mind these ones are dead. They have been in my freezer for quite some time. They don't freeze well at all, and I suggest that you use them as fresh as possible. When they die, they can become very limp and they're not very good. The only thing you can do with these is actually build some larger baits with 4 or 5 of these cottoned together. One of my all-time favorite baits is simple, long, thin chokka strip. In systems where there are a lot of pickers, this works really, really well. Literally a single nice thin chokka strip like that is often a deadly bait for grunter. All we're going to do is literally pin it like this. Nothing fancy, single long chokka strip, hook point, nice and exposed. That's all you need. So we're back at home. I've cleaned and packed away most of the gear, and I just want to do a quick recap of what we covered in this video, starting with rods. I recommend 8 to 9 foot long rods between the 5 and 25 gram weight class. Now people often ask me, why these long rods? Why won't my 7 foot rod do? And it's not about your 7 foot rod that won't do the job. With an 8 or a 9 foot rod, I can cast 20 to 30 meters further than you can with your 7 foot setup. What this enables me to do, firstly, is to cast lighter weights at further distances. Remember, this is a finesse fishing game. Grunter are very aware and spook extremely easily. The less weight I can have on my rig, the better it is for my presentation. Moving on to reels. Reels in the 2.5 to 3,000 size reels are perfect. Spooled with PE 0.6 to 0.8. I recommend that you do not exceed 15 pounds of braid because it starts to influence your finesse approach once again. Leader materials between 12 and 18 pound. 18 pound only for the systems where we've got really large fish like large cob present. Systems like the Grunter or the Breda River. Looking at hooks. For my prawn presentations, I like to fish a size 1 or even a size 2 circle. The BKKs and Mustad Demon circles are good examples of quality hooks that you can look at. I always use a size 6 power swivel. Now, once again, these fish are not particularly powerful. I just like to have extra reassurance of quality terminal tackle. As for bait presentations, as you saw, we try to keep them streamlined and as thin as possible. Grunters are finesse feeders and will inhale your bait. They're not pecking at it like other species. So stay away from bulky and round large baits to increase your hookup ratios. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. And stay tuned for more informative videos like this very soon. Cheers.